Good evening, everyone. This is Jordo here from dmNorthTV, and I'm joined with my partner in crime, Laurier. Say hi, Laurier.
Hello,
Uh,
I'm Noria, aka CCM00007.
I always screw up your zeros.
I know.
We are here tonight or today, depending when you are watching this video, to discuss an event coming up in the Dice Masters world, Roll for the North 2. What is Roll for the North 2, Laurier?
It is our unofficial Canadian Nationals that we now are doing for the second year in a row. Except this time we're not taking the same super competitive approach we did last year. This year we're doing a fun, unique format that you came up with, actually, Jordo. Why don't you talk about the format?
Yeah, actually, we decided instead of the boring old Becky Godcatcher Thor meta, we would mix things up a little bit and go for a theme. And one of the more popular themes on some of the themey events like MOD, PDMs, things like that, has been single affiliation. And it's a great format, lots of fun. You pick your teams and great builds. However, we wanted to do something just a little bit different because this is the second one. We decided to make it double your funds. So instead of one affiliation, you will have two affiliations. Half of your team, aka four of your cards, will be one affiliation, and the other half of your team, the other four cards, will be a second affiliation that is not the same as the first. Cards are limited to the superhero IPs, so DC and Marvel only. Your basic actions must match your affiliations. So if you have DC affiliations, you must have DC basic action cards, and vice versa for Marvel. If you have one of each, you've got to have one of each. And that's it.
Yes, and there are some more specifics on how exactly the cards work. And for that, we refer you to our article on the subject, which is found at dm-north.com/roll-for-the-north-21.
Or click on the
And
picture on the
you
front page.
exactly. That's actually probably a better idea.
This will be taking place on October 23rd, so in a couple weeks from the recording date of this video, and online. So all you need is a webcam to participate, and the sign up information is all on the website. But we're here not to talk about how to sign up. We're here to kind of go over some of the details of the event, so to speak. So
Let's start with talking about some of the bans, because I know that when we revealed the format, it generated some discussions and some questions. When people were saying, hey, how come this card is banned? How come this set is banned? So let's just get it out of the way first with the sets. There are two sets that we have chosen to ban from this event. They are the Avengers versus X-Men and Uncanny X-Men sets. Those are the two very first sets that were ever released for Dice Masters, and contain some cards that, well, let's just put it this way. If we had to keep these sets in, the ban list would probably have been 20 cards
yeah,
or
it
more.
seemed when we were designing the format, every time we ran into a problem, it was AVX. So AVX got heaved out the window just to make life simple. UXM is basically banned for one card in particular. And what card?
I
There's a few cards,
well,
but there was one that could have made things less fun for people.
yeah, Professor X recruiting young mutants, aka also Professor X trainer. If
AKA
you've played the
PXG.
game, PXG, yeah, if you've played the game for long enough, you've probably heard about it. It's a staple of competitive Dice Masters that was there as long as it was legal, pretty much. It continues to be one of the best ramp and churn cards in the game. But it's not the only reason. Honestly, there are some other cards that people don't think about Uncanny X-Men that would have really skewed the game. Say transfer power. Like there's a lot in that set that flies under the radar when people think about team building. It can still be pretty nuts.
Yeah.
But really, it's true that PXG is the big reason why it's why we had to get
Yeah.
Uncanny X-Men out of the way. But Avengers versus X-Men in itself was the big baddie that honestly the stuff I could come up with was just nasty.
The other reason was also we're hoping to give the newer players a chance to participate in this. So knocking out those first two sets kind of cuts the card pool down a little bit, lets the newer players in a little bit easier. So that was the other reason, a little more inclusion type of thing.
Yeah. More inclusion and also some more chance to have fun, because some of the cards that were problematic in Avengers vs. X-Men were cards that were making life difficult, not giving people a chance to really play. Like if you're up against, say, Black Widow Serena, well, you're going to be facing that pressure from the moment the game starts, and you're probably not going to have much time to set up anything unless your team is built to stop that. If you haven't played for long enough, you don't know how to stop Serena.
Right. So
It is a pain in the neck.
out
So
out she goes, along with a whole bunch of other bad things.
yes, she's just one example of many from that set.
Yeah. So obviously those two sets are eliminated, but there's also a couple specific cards we've taken out of this format as well. I think we're at 5 cards right now, and I think that's probably where we're going to stay. But let's talk about the 5 cards that we have banned for this event and why we have banned them.
Yes.
First one is I'll list them off. You tell me why. First one is Hope Summers Pluripotent Echopraxia. First try.
Man, good job pronouncing that one. Now, that card just does way too much for X-Men teams. Any card that's an X-Men, doesn't matter which one. It could be costed at 3, like it could be costed at 7 or more. Oh, look at that! All of a sudden, your 3 cost can copy it. It just does way too much.
Yes.
It is way too easy to fit in, and it is completely nasty.
So yeah, Hope is out just because she's too easy, basically.
Yes.
Let's talk about this card without swearing. Black Manta, Deep Sea Deviant.
Oh, you're the one that would be swearing about that one. I don't blame you. Honestly, that retaliation effect essentially means, hey, anything gets KO'd? Yeah, oh, let's say I've got 3 villains on the table other than the one that got KO'd. Oh no, for each of those characters that gets KO'd that's a villain, hey, you take 3 damage each time. Bang, 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 bang. Like, that card is another one that's too easy. It deals so much damage so quickly, and in the wrong hands, it can make for some really unfun games.
Yeah. The next one, there was a little bit of debate about this one, but we eventually did decide to ban it, but it is Green Lantern Human.
Yeah, and while there's a bit of debate, honestly, it's still I still stand by my recommendation to have that one banned, because it pushes damage so quickly, and it makes for a pure control archetype in Justice League that is so easy to slot in. I mean, especially with some of the other cards in the format. If we had to keep Green Lantern in, I could think of at least 4 cards we would have had to ban so that he wouldn't have been too much. So after a while, it just became clear that Green Lantern himself had to go, unless we really wanted the meta to just purely be pure control all day long.
Yeah, so I was okay with it. The next one, I'm happy to see this card on the ban list, is Vicious Struggle, a basic action card from War of Light, I believe.
Yes, that is correct. And the people that know of some of the teams I ran will probably be surprised to see me, of all people, recommending banning this one, seeing as I used it in competitions before. But if, like, in this format, and I'm thinking especially, but not only, with Avengers. Let's say that you have on your Avengers team the Luke Cage Global, and then you have something to prevent the damage to you. Oh, that just gets not fun in a hurry. It just gets stupidly, and that's just one example. But a card that reflects damage that you take right back in your opponent's face all the time, oh, that's just not fun after a while. So that one is gone primarily so that we can have some more fun casual times for everyone as much as possible.
And the last card on our ban list is, again, War of Light card, Raven, Azarath, Metreon, Zinthos.
Yes. Okay. This one is the one instance where we chose to ban a card so that we wouldn't make an affiliation tier 1. We'll go over the tiers shortly after this, but let me put it this way. If you put this in and you put Teen Titans as one of your affiliations, and then whichever other affiliation you choose, you only put masked characters, your opponent can't target anything in your team. That just that is so oppressive. That is so dominant as a form of control. And yet the rest of the Teen Titans fit perfectly into what we'd call a tier 2
Which
affiliation.
we're going to get to in a second here. So yeah, basically Raven
Yes.
was only put there because it pushed Titans too high, and it just like ridiculously high. So
Yeah.
we decided to bump her to bump them. Um,
Yeah.
I think that covers all the cards. I'm not really anticipating any more bans. Nothing has come up in our discussions or testing that's too bad. There's some bad things out there, but nothing horrible. I mean, this is a tournament, of course, so you do want to win. So there should be some bad things there.
Oh yeah, yeah. And we tried to stay as hands off as possible in terms of actual bannings. It honestly is preferable to bump a card up a tier, bump an affiliation up a tier to tier 1, so you can choose to have it, but you're not incentivized.
Right. So
But and we'll go over this
what?
now.
Yeah. Why don't we use this as a segue to the tier systems? So essentially, to try to control the strong teams and the weak teams, we decided to break the affiliations into 3 tiers: tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Basically, well, let's go tier 1. Tier 1 are the strongest of the strong teams. They have all the tools available to them. They have got control. They've got removal. They've got win cons. Um, they're not going to be a problem to win with these teams. Do we want to go over the affiliations as we go through the tiers, or just quickly describe the tiers?
I think a quick description of the tiers
Okay.
is a good idea. But when we talk about tier 1, it doesn't always have all the tools. Some have only some of them, but they're so overwhelmingly reliable or strong that it tilts the board
Yeah.
too far.
Tier 3 is basically the good luck and have a good day affiliations. Is the best way to put it.
Oh, yeah, essentially, these are affiliations where you have no clear path to victory.
No.
There's no clear, even though there can be some neat cards in there. I mean, look at Marvel Knights that has the rare stick, or look at Team Arrow that has the Felicity Smoke that allows you to get an extra reroll. Like, there's plenty of neat cards in there, but it's not neat cards don't win you games. Strategies do.
No,
So
no. So if you're going to play with tier 3, I mean, good luck.
yeah, good luck. You're gonna have fun. You might sneak in a win or two, but don't
Um,
expect to win it all.
so everything that is not tier 1 and not tier 3 is considered tier 2, which is basically the middle of the road teams. They have strong tools in the toolbox, but they don't have all the tools. It's going to take some work to get to whatever it is you're getting to with those ones. So I think with that, let's maybe quickly zip through these tiers and explain kind of why we put some things where we did for tier 1 and tier 3, and then a couple of the fringe tier 2 affiliations we'll talk about. We're not going to talk about all of them, but we'll kind of talk about the ones that were kind of, we'll call them 1.5s maybe. They almost made the cut to tier 1, but we decided to drop them.
Okay, so let's start then with the 1.5s before I talk about one particular tier 1 affiliation I want to go into. But about the 1.5s, let's talk about Guardians. That's
Okay.
an interesting one because they have a lot of tools. There's a lot of cards in that card pool. They have good offense and they have ramp, but they're not that fast. They require time to set up. They also have limited removal. They have some, but not that much, and they have limited control. So they don't have all the tools in the toolbox. They don't do everything great.
No, they are
And
good,
so, yes,
but are they 4 cards good? And I think we decided no.
not to the same degree as the other ones.
Yeah. Well, if we're sticking with 1.5, why don't we cover all the 1.5s?
Okay.
Let's
So next up,
next one is the Spidey Friends, Spider
oh my
Friends.
gosh,
So this
yeah,
was there was some debate, believe it or not, because Spider-Man has a very strong win condition available to it. Why don't you quickly go over that?
okay. Of course, Madam Web is the elephant in the room when we talk about Spider Friends. The rare Madam Web, where you can pay 2 when she attacks, force everything your opponent has to block. And that's strong, yes. And there are other strong offensive tools for Spider Friends. But you get I don't even know of any good ramp or control in Spider Friends at all. There
No,
is a walking. There is the SP//DR that's funny, but it's not like you're running a. It's not like you're going to get everything. This affiliation doesn't give you everything.
no, no.
So
So yeah, because of
yes,
Madam Web,
yeah,
it was a close call, but we did decide to keep it into tier two.
yeah,
Um,
because it's got offense, it's got great offense, but it doesn't have the rest. It doesn't have. You can't build your whole team out of those four,
no,
essentially.
no. The next one we've already kind of discussed the one card we banned with Raven, so let's talk Titans.
Yeah,
Titans.
Titans is interesting because you can protect all of your Titans still. Even though we banned Raven, we left Wonder Girl alone,
Yep.
which at first glance might sound kind of weird. Why do we ban one and not the other? Well, it's because Teen Titans can only protect your Teen Titan. Wonder Girl can only protect your Teen Titans. So you can have half of your team well protected, your Teen Titans, and Teen Titans does have some win conditions, but those win conditions are slow because you have Starfire, you have Hawk, Starfire that deals damage when she attacks based on the Titans you have active. You have Hawk and Dove, where if Dove is KO'd when Hawk's active, Hawk smashes your opponent in the face.
I love that combo.
Oh yeah, it's fun.
Sorry.
But like the Hawk and Dove combo is actually not that reliable
No,
because you don't have a way to reliably KO your characters in this
no.
format that are not sidekicks. You could try using truce and stuff, but it's not going to be that quick. So Titans has great control, but slow win conditions. And again, not the it has a bit of rent, but not that much. So it's not something that does everything well.
Yeah.
So that's why that one stayed in the tier 2. If Raven had been legal, we would have had no choice but to put it tier 1. There would
Right.
have been no way around it.
Yeah. And the last one that's kind of tier 1.5 ish, sort of, maybe, is Thunderbolts.
Well, yeah, and this one is just because of the sheer versatility of it. But they're a jack of all trades, master of none. They've got Atlas, obviously, which is a great ramp and churn tool. They've got Meteorite, which is one card that gives you some good control. Hey, you limit how much you can get attacked. But it doesn't. None of those are overwhelmingly powerful at what they do. And same for the offense. They have some good. Hey, like you got that Mac something beetle that's got Overcrush, and you got tools that can do just about every function. But it's a jack of all trades. They
Yep.
don't have dominant pieces.
Yep. And remember, you only get 4 cards here, so
Yeah.
you're not going
So
to
you
have all
don't
the
get
tools.
exactly. Not with
Uh,
those teams
so
though.
that covers the tier 1.5. So the ones that didn't quite make the cut to tier 1, which we'll discuss now. I honestly don't think we need to discuss the tier 3 as to why they're there.
Nah, it should be fairly self-evident.
Yeah.
If you can find a broken combo within tier 3, kudos to you,
Bring it.
good sir or ma'am.
Absolutely bring it. I will be impressed with you.
Absolutely,
So
me
let's
too.
talk tier 1 affiliations. We've got 5 of them. Let's actually just mention
Hang on.
really quickly. Sorry,
You got
6.
6 of them.
6. I can't count. Obviously, the first thing I'm going to mention, obviously, pure villains are out for this event. I don't think we mentioned that earlier because villains are ridiculously strong. So let's get that out of the way and let's talk about the other 6 tier 1 affiliations. Let's
Yeah.
go top to bottom. First one is X-Men. Do we need to explain why the X-Men are strong?
Oh boy.
Even
Okay,
with
where do I even
even without hope.
you have crazy 2-cost win conditions like Boom Boom and Jubilee. You have top tier control and cards like Bishop, the rare Bishop that prevents all non-combat damage to you. The uncommon Jean Grey that damages your opponent's characters as soon as they hit the field. You've got the rare Starfire that prevents damage to your X-Men, so hey, they're even harder to get off the board. You've got a Sidekick Maker in Professor X from X-Men First Class. You got Iceman. You've got like
Everything.
that affiliation has everything just about. You got
Yep.
Mimic for recurrent removal. Like you've got everything in that affiliation that you might want.
Yep.
It is insane.
Well,
And by the way, I spoke about 2-cost win conditions. Danny Moonstar.
Yeah.
Sorry for forgetting her.
Yeah. Well, speaking of mimics, let's talk about the next tier 1 affiliation, which some people might kind of question initially, but exiles. There's not a lot of
Yeah,
exiles, but they're tier 1. Why is that?
well, because even though you got 17 cards or so in Exiles, one of them is Common Mimic, which is insane ramp that can also become a win condition in late game. And another one is the Uncommon Morph that can take any basic action and give it to you at will. Betrayal is a common favorite with that particular character.
Yep.
Another favorite can be, say, Power Surge or even Raised Shields to give characters Overcrush. Like that affiliation has two of the most dominant cards that you could want for this format.
Yep.
And then on top of that, hey, you want to run an Overcrushing character that's a 5 cost? Rare Sasquatch is another one of those 17 cards.
Yes.
Like, there, honestly, if it was just Sasquatch, would not have been close.
Yeah.
To even close to tier 1.
Yeah.
But because you have Common Mimic and Uncommon Morph, there's no way we could not.
Yeah. For me, it was
tier 1.
Morph was the guilty party there because he would have run rampant in this.
You didn't play against you didn't play against enough Mimic.
Well, no, I played it against Mimic, but I just know Morph's the easy way out, so we don't want to give you that. Let's
That's fair.
stick with the Marvel Universe and finish on Avengers as a tier 1 team.
Do I really need to go into this? I mean, sure, Avengers versus X-Men is gone, but you got your Ronins. You got the Hulk from the Thor set that deals damage to your opponent every time one of your characters takes damage. You've got the Widow that buffs your whole board if you want from Avengers Infinity. You've got Captain America that can damage your opponent's face if he's not KO'd. You've got the only force block that's legal in this format among globals with Wasp. You've even got the Wasp that deals damage to your opponent each time a global is used. You've got burn damage with a global ability. You've got even a Captain America that allows you to heal damage when you take non-combat damage, or allows you to regain that life right back. Then you've got, if say your opponent's doing some big direct damage in your face, instead run the Captain America that reduces that damage to 1. Avengers has so many different tools. They've got win conditions. They've got control. They've even got. I mean, they don't have as much ramp, but still, like you've got some crazy power in Avengers, even without Avengers versus X-Men.
So they're good, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Like they are top tier. It's not because of the number of cards. There are a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's just because of the quality of the cards that are there. Hey, you got actually correction for ramp. You got Iron Lad that gives you ramp for Avengers. Sorry, I forgot him. Like,
we'll move on from there because you sound like you're getting worked up about Avengers.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I didn't even realize this till right now. It's 3 and 3 DC set. Three tier 1 DC, 3 tier 1 Marvel. That's interesting. Why don't we jump straight to the elephant in the room on tier 1 and let's just talk Legion of Doom?
Yeah, this one.
There's some question as is Legion of Doom good without Manta?
Okay, have you ever played against Parasite?
I've never heard of him.
Or against the 5-cost Poison Ivy? How about that card called Clayface? Like, if you've played against Legion of Doom, and Gorilla Grodd, where you can either have a character that forces everything to attack, or you can have a Gorilla Grodd that gives Overcrush to every one of your characters. Or you can have an unblockable Gorilla Grodd, essentially, unless you have crossovers on your opposing side. Good luck with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that affiliation has everything. And I didn't even talk about the Scarecrow that makes it so you can't be attacked by characters with an attack of 2 or less. Or worse yet, how about Brainiac?
Mm-hmm.
Brainiac, get inside your head from the Justice campaign box. Normally not relevant in competitive play, but here, while he's active, only one opposing character die of each affiliation may attack each turn. Think about that for a second. You're forcing your opponent into attacking only with 1 die per affiliation, so at most 2 non-psychic characters will come to you each turn. That's ridiculous.
Yep. So that's
that's
why it was tier 1. There was just so many tools left in the toolbox, even though we took away the big one.
Yeah, you can
Um,
have win conditions, control, ramp, removal, everything in
yeah.
that one affiliation. It is definitely tier one.
So let's go to the other end of the spectrum, and we talked about Legion of Doom. Let's talk about Justice League.
Yeah, Justice League is another one where, hey, with Green Lantern gone, are they still good? The short answer is yes. The long answer is heck yes. Because you've still got like the Batman that allows your psychics to have 2 attack extra whenever they attack. Then you've got Martian Manhunter and Black Canary that benefit if ever your opponent has any villains on the board, which you can make opposing characters villains by using Pandora's Box
Yep.
or Takedown on the if you have a Marvel affiliation as your other one. So you can create villains and then give all your characters Overcrush, which again is a big reason why Legion of Doom's tier 1 is that Gorilla Grodd that gives everyone Overcrush. Well, you can do it for Justice League for a 6 cost instead of a 7. Or alternatively, say that 6 cost doesn't work. Well, I'm making your characters villains so that they can't block when I attack with my Black Canary instead.
Yep. So there's still lots of tools in the toolbox for Justice
Yeah,
League.
and I didn't even get into the discounts and some of the crazy control, like Wonder Woman, our favorite Wonder Woman that prevents any when fielded or when attacks from doing anything. Like
Yep.
that affiliation is another one that's loaded with versatility with lots of tools in the toolbox.
And last but not least, one of my personal favorite affiliations in Dice Masters, Bat Family.
You and me both. My first one I ever used in competitions was Bat Family, and that affiliation is it has crazy win conditions, and it has crazy removal. Let's imagine Batgirl. Whenever she takes damage, 4 damage divided as you want on opposing characters. Nightwing, whenever he attacks, 4 damage to opposing characters divided however you want. You can use Vigilante Justice. And if ever you do any KOs, hey, if your opponent buys your Vigilante Justice and you got Bat Family on your side, you don't give a crap because your Bat Family characters are protected from Vigilante Justice.
Yeah.
And then, hey, if you want to run the old school Bat Family trick with Alfred and Bruce Wayne and Batman, you can do that.
Yep.
You just need a global to deal damage to sidekicks, of which Alfred counts as one. And there are a couple of options for that. For example, the Spectre from the Red Lanterns. You can run Spectre on as your Red Lanterns as your other affiliations. You run Bat Family. You have Alfred on the board and Bruce Wayne. Oh no, I KO'd my Alfred. Here, let me get my Batman, put him from use pile straight on the field for free. And by the way, I capture one of your characters.
Yep.
And that's on top of the other removal forms that I already mentioned.
Yeah, just Batman has
Like,
so many tools in the utility belt there. So
yes,
many.
that utility belt is loaded with strong characters with big attack, crazy strong removal, and I didn't even mention some of the crazy control, like Oracle of all cards.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
that is another affiliation that is loaded
So
and well deserving of tier 1.
so basically we've left it open as to so I guess first let's explain exactly how these tiers affect the tournament. Basically the highest level tier that is on your team will be your tier level. So if you run an X-Men and a Suicide Squad team, you are still running a tier 1 team in our eyes. And what we've decided is to kind of level the playing field a little bit. The higher tiered teams are going to win more likely. So we've decided they are not going to get as many raffle tickets for their wins. So if you win with a lower tier team, you're going to earn more than a higher tier team. And for our math lesson, let's let Laurier take over because he's got this down pretty good.
Yeah, so let's go over this. Let's say that you're running a tier 1 team. You want to go big, strong team. You're running X-Men and Exiles as your 2 affiliations. Well, you know what? Here's how many tickets you're going to win. You get 1 ticket for each round you play, automatically, win or lose. And then, if you win a round, if you're running a tier 1 team, you're only getting 1 ticket. Tier 2 team, you get 2 tickets for winning. Tier 3 team, you get 3 tickets for winning. How that works? With my big tier 1 team, let's say I do great. I'm the best at what I do with those X-Men, and I'm 4-0. Well, I got my 4 participation tickets, and I got 1 ticket for each of my wins. So that's 4 more tickets. I just won 8 tickets by doing perfectly. Hey, that sounds good, right?
Yep.
Hold on a second. Let's see what happens if I'm tier 2. I'm running that team that's strong. I've got some good offense and some good defense. Nothing that's so overwhelmingly good, though. Okay, so I got 4 tickets for participating, just like the tier 1 guy. Let's say I only won 2 games. Because, hey, I ran up against a couple of tier 1 teams. Yeah, I still did okay. Hey, I got 2 wins. Cool. Well, I got 2 tickets for each of those wins. Look at that. I got 8 tickets then, too. And if you happen to be 3-1, look at that. 10 tickets. So and that's like, even though I didn't do as well in terms of wins, well, I still got just as good of a chance to win, and potentially better if I'm lucky. Now, what happens with tier 3? Well, we don't expect you're going to get that many wins with tier 3, but by the end of the tournament, you're going to be matched up with other teams that are tier 3. So you got chances to get at least 1 win. What happens? Let's say I just get 1 win as a tier 3. Well, I got my 4 participation tickets, just like tier 1 and tier 2, and that 1 win gives me 3 tickets. So I got 7 tickets for just 1 win. If I can squeak in 2 wins, I get 10 tickets. So it's balanced out so that if you're trying to go for more tickets, if you're trying to get more chances at the prizing, well, you know what? Even if you run the tier 1 team the best way you can, you're not going to have the best chance at those prizes. The best chance at those prizes is going to be someone that can balance out the tier that they want to use and how many wins they can get with it. Heck, if you manage to get 3-1 with a tier 3 team, I tip my hat off to you, and you'll end up with 13 tickets. I don't see it happening, but if you do,
Hopefully someone, Nick, will prove us wrong. And
I would be thrilled.
I would love to see a tier 3 team win. I would. It's not going to happen, but I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
I think that covers our agenda for today. So we've covered what the event is, a little bit about the bands, a little bit about the tiers, had a math lesson. I think that covers everything. Is there anything else you wanted to add to our little conversation here before we wrap things up?
Well, one thing I want to say is I want to thank everyone for the conversations and for the excitement around this event. That kind of event only works if people buy in.
Yes.
If people are willing to just jump in and have fun. So sure, we can talk from our high horse about here's how we made our decisions, but it only works if the community likes it as well. So thank you for your interest in this event. Thank you for those that already signed up. Thank you for those that will sign up. You're all welcome to join us. Let's all roll some dice and have some fun.
Yeah, it should be a good day. So again, that is Saturday, October 23rd, starting at, I want to say, noon Eastern.
Yes, noon Eastern time is when we are starting this.
Yes. The deadline for submissions is actually going to change from what's on the website right this instant to a day before. So October 21st will be the deadline submission. The reason for that, for your team submissions, is we need time to just double check that your team is correct and it doesn't have any of the bad cards on, and your basic actions match your affiliations, and to figure out what your tier is. So yeah, all the information will be.
Else in there too.
What's that?
There's something else in there too. If ever you do make a mistake, we want to give you time to fix it.
That's true. The original deadline was the day before, but we figured if there was a mistake, you won't have a lot of time to fix it, and that might not make you feel very good. So we're going to bump the team submission day by 1 day, 24 hours, and that should give us time to get everything set up on our end, and then hopefully it'll be just a fun day of rolling dice on October 23rd.
And we hope to see you all there.
Yeah. Thanks for
and don't
watching.
Forget, the event is free.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching, everybody. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video. Give us a thumbs up if you're planning on showing up. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and we will see you on the 23rd. Bye.